G'day, mate. I guess, mate, you're here for the good oil on Sheilas and Blokes. Two of the higher profile Aussie words and very important words to understand for day-to-day use and comprehension of Aussie English. Ever watched a bad Aussie film aimed at the American market? Or a bad American film that has Aussie characters also aimed at the American market? Yeah, mate, you know what I'm talking about. Well, sure as eggs, mate. Those films will have rough as guts Aussies using the word Sheila, generally in an insulting way towards women. But what does it mean, mate? Well, like any dinkum Aussie word, you have to listen to the context in which Sheila's used to work out exactly what it means. What do you think this is? Some sort of a rort where you can bludge off your mates and get a free skinful of the brown water? Well, forget it, sunshine.
Don't call me a rorting bludger, you little bastard, or I'll dob you into your Sheila. I'll tell the little floozy that you've been trying to crack onto me if you don't shut your cake hole.
Well, actually, Dale, we're off to a barbie this Sarvey. Want to come along? Plenty of spunks for a good-looking Sheila such as yourself. Oh, that's just bloody it then. I've wasted another bloody arvo with a fair dinkum bludging mate and a fair dinkum snaky Sheila. So stuff you two. I'm off like a bride's nightie.
Rightio then, Brucey. See you later, mate.
Yeah, Bruce. Thanks for the tucker and the grog.
Suppose. Could do with another cold beer, though.
Crikey, mate. You can have a cold beer when we get out. There's plenty of a cold beer. And that's all part of it, mate. All that cash means nothing if you can't enjoy the simple Aussie pleasures of outdoor living, beautiful beaches, good mates, cold beers, and friendly Sheilas. So as you can see from that, mate, Sheila's just an Aussie word for woman. It's an old word, mate. Some say it came from Oz having so many Irish immigrants, many of whom were called Sheila in the Irish fashion. Again though, mate, is that all it means? If you met the Queen of England, or Australia as she is, would you be able to say, "G'day, love, you're a top Sheila, that's for bloody sure," as you crack her open a tinny? I don't think so, mate. Old Lizzie might get a knickers and a knot over that one. And why's that, mate? Well, mate, unfortunately for us blokes, some Sheilas take offence at being called Sheilas. This doesn't mean that offence is intended, mate, but, you know, in this modern day and age, some of the ladies think they're a bit too good to be called Sheila, which I find bloody funny because I love being called a bloke. Of course, there's no harm intended, mate, and you'll still hear people use the word Sheila from all walks of Aussie life. The Premier of Queensland uses Sheila all the bloody time when he's talking about his cabinet members, and they say they love it. But don't take my word for it, mate. See if you can use Sheila in front of every little Sheila you meet, and every bloke, and see what the reaction is. Hopefully, mate, there'll be none, as it's just another day in the life of a dinkum Aussie word, Sheila. And mate, sadly, there are other words for Sheila that can be considered offensive as well. For example, mate, blokes tend to use the word bird when talking about a woman. She's a nice looking bird. Oh, she's a good bird. They don't mean for it to be sexist, but Sheilas often seem to think that it is. And I think that's funny, mate, because birds seem to use the word chick between themselves to talk about Sheilas. For example, mate, they'll say, "She's a good chick," or "She's a rock chick," or "She's his chickie babe." Blokes also use chick every now and then, and yet when they say it, women complain and say it's sexist. A bloke can't win, can he, mate? I think it's just easy to talk to blokes sometimes, don't you reckon? What does that mean, mate, talk to blokes? What's bloke mean? Is a bloke just a guy? What does it mean to be blokey? Well, mate, let's have a listen.
Ah, g'day, mate. Good to see you. Oh, did you bring some grog with you? I could strangle a barmaid and suck her fingers till they bled, I'm so dry.
Oh, yeah, mate, no worries. Picked up a carton from the old bottle-o. Help yourself to a wombat.
Cheers, mate. You're a top bloke, that's for sure. Oh, that hit the spot.
What do you mean, Jono? You're a top bloke, apart from the odd time you bludge off your mates. That's who you are, mate. That's all that really matters. Okay, mate. If it's important to you that your fair dinkum cobber goes walkabout with you in the outback, so you're not in your Pat Malone drinking with the flies while you discover your dinky identity in case you cark it as a young bloke, then okay. I won't pike on you, mate. Not in your hour of need.
Cheers, Brucey. You're a good bloke, mate.
Oh, well, we're all good blokes, Jono, aren't we, mate? When push comes to shove, we're all good blokes. But being good blokes won't keep us alive and in with the locals out whoop-whoop while on walkabout in the outback. So we'd better grab some fair dinkum tucker and gear. I'll pop off and have a squiz in my kitchen and my bedroom, and you can grab the ute and meet me there. Then we'll be off like a piece of cheese, mate. I'm back, boys.
Here, Brucey. Jono wanted you to have this tucker.
Oh, good on you, Jono. Bunya, you're both top blokes. Mate, as you can see from that, bloke's obviously a very important word with blokes down under. As you should have been able to tell from Jono and myself, to be a good bloke is something that's very important in the Australian male psyche. Above all things in life, mate, you have to be a good bloke. If you're not, then life's really not worth living, is it, mate? Take Patrick Rafter for an example, mate. You've heard of him, the former Aussie #1 tennis player. He won the US Open 2 years in a row. You think you'd be remembered for being a great tennis player, right? Well, mate, if you ask any Aussie about him, you'll discover that above all things, he's remembered as being a good bloke. He wasn't a big noter. He didn't let it all go to his head. He was a good bloke. That's what's important, mate. Above material success, above being the smartest bloke in the room, above flash language or a flash house or anything else. The bottom line, mate, just as Jono said, is that being a good bloke is number one. It ties in with the concept of mateship, mate. A good bloke is a good mate. A good bloke will look after you if you're in a blue. A good bloke will shout your drinks, and he'll never bludge off you. That's what's important in Australia, mate, and it's all interrelated. Of course, mate, if you absolutely excel in being a good bloke, then you'd be in real danger of being considered a top bloke. To say someone's a top bloke is pretty well the highest compliment that you can be paid by an Aussie. So if someone does say you're a top bloke, then you should be honoured. Not that you'd let that get to your head, of course, mate, because if you did, then you wouldn't be a top bloke, would you? Well, what does it mean for a bloke to be called blokey? Well, mate, if you're blokey, it means that you do all the things that Aussie blokes normally do. For example, mate, you'll love watching sport while having a few icy cold coldies. You'll tend to spend more time with your mates, to the exclusion of your better half. You love nothing more than shouting your mates and being shouted in return, down in a sunny beer garden one beautiful summer afternoon. Perhaps just before Christmas, and just after a swim in one of our beautiful beaches. Anyway, mate, that's what it means to be blokey. And if you're really blokey, and you're a top bloke, then you might even be called a bloke's bloke. So, mate, if you're a bloke, then here's hoping you're a good bloke, and you're well on your way to being a top bloke. And if you're a Sheila, then I've no doubt you're a top bird and a nice chick. And I wish you every luck in finding a bloke that isn't too blokey for you.